Good morning, everybody. This is your breakfast show. And in the studios this morning, we have the one and only lady of sound herself. It is Kathleen. Good morning, Kathleen. How are you doing, super lady?
I'm good.
Yeah, you like moving the microphone away from you, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't like it in my face.
You don't like? Okay, yeah, I understand. We don't want to miss. Yeah, I hear you. Also joining us in the studio, we have the one and only. We're joining us here in North London studios, Alero Dabor. Good morning, Alero.
Good morning, everyone.
Can we, microphone? That's it. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me back.
It's good. It's a pleasure having you with us. And also, on the other side of me, we have the one and only. It is the interior designer of all that is contemporary and beautiful herself. It is Sabrina Durant. Good morning, Sabrina Durant.
Good morning.
Sabrina Durant, I'm waiting for the cologne. I'm waiting for it.
Soon
Sabrina
come.
Durant. S, and you got like a big D with like a swiggle. Durant. Hey. Okay, sorry, Sabrina Yvonne. Okay, just thought I'd say that. All right, so guys, we're going to go into Alero's story right now, and this is very, 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 very important. Just before the timeout. Oh, by the way, we have a message here from Hepzibah. Hepzibah says, welcome back, Alero. Good to see you, lovely Sabrina. Hi, Breakfast Show listeners. Cat, and cat. See that? Cat.
Bruh.
Yeah. And the main man, our show host himself. Thank you very much. Miss Robust, the man with the mostess. Okay, I'll take it. Say in the patois.
Patois.
Saying pat. Oh, okay. Saying pat. Okay. Get it. All right, guys. But anyway, so just to give a bit of a recap. So, Alero grew up in the UK, right? Caucasian family. So because she was in a Caucasian family in the South End, right?
Yeah.
She basically grew up like you hear how Alero speaks, right? she's not originally Nigerian, but and basically grew up here, but then you went back to Nigeria. There was some changes, and because of that, there was some challenges because you was different, right? You had children play a game like you're behind the door, you speak, and they say guess if this person is a Caucasian person or if this person's from here. And the children would do those kind of things out of their innocence, but but at the same time, you had gifts, you had a passion for speaking. You wasn't a bold person in terms of putting yourself forward, but situations occurred, and out of obedience, you would take part in those things to speak to or rate things, and you found yourself gravitating towards communication, right? And speaking. Then coming back to the UK, you were after you graduated and you've done very well academically. You're like, people are saying that when you go to UK, you're gonna be doing a job of a cleaner, right? Because that's where everybody's like, if you come in, you're new.
They talk about menial jobs, yeah.
And every job has its value, right? But that's what people are saying. And for you was like, you know what? If anything, I'm going to train myself in 6 months to learn how to type, and I'm going to be at least a secretary.
That's right.
And you achieved it. Coming back to UK, you had your foot in there as a secretary, and that was opening doors for you to climb and became a property development,
a leasehold manager. I went into development. All this is within the housing association.
Yeah.
So development officer, and then a leasehold manager.
Great. So you kept moving. You had challenges at the time with your son, and you wanted to do a master's degree as well. So you had all those kind of things to manage at the same time. But you broke through. You achieved your master's in 2 years, in half the time instead of in 1 year instead of 2 years. Traveling from one end of England to the other. You did it. You made it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look back on that now, what are your thoughts?
On reflection, I don't know how I did it. On reflection, I genuinely do not know how I did it. But this is what we're saying. If you have fire in your belly, as you say, if you're passionate about something, and if you want something, nothing will stop you. Once there's a will, you find a way.
It's true.
And I think I had the will, so I found the way.
Yeah.
And I think that is the only thing. And again, you have to put bread and butter on the table.
Yeah.
And if you have to put bread and butter, you don't want to stop there. It's not just that. You want bigger and better things for yourself, for your family. So those were the things that kept me going. And for every time I achieved something, I felt good in myself.
Yeah.
It made me feel good.
That's it. So now you're on a high,
Yeah.
right? You've got you've done your masters, you've got a nice job role set up. You're putting food on the table. You're doing your thing. So what other challenges came your way? Because once you achieve something, challenges in our lives just don't stop.
They don't stop.
So what came next?
So what happened was, I got the job as a leasehold manager, and I was happy. And then I wanted to train to be a solicitor. So I got into law school, the College of Law, and I was training to be a solicitor. So my day was take my son to school, go to work, and then go to law school 3 evenings a week. So I would wake up at about 4 a.m. and my day would end at 12 a.m. That's at least 3 times. 3 times a week. I did that for about 1.5 years. But somewhere in the second year, because it was part-time. So the second year, all of a sudden, something very simple like what was I doing? Intellectual property and commerce.
So intellectual property. Of course.
I was doing.
Of course,
but I wasn't getting it. I just could not understand what they were saying. I was thinking, why was I so unclever? Why was I? What was it that was so simple that I just wasn't getting? And don't forget, I'd done the first year. I'd already completed the first year of the legal practice course, being a solicitor. So this was my second year. But then when I would get home, I would continue sleeping forever. I was just fatigued. So everything was just all my daily activities, but I need to have opportunity to sleep. So there's a day. It was a summer holiday I would never forget, and I had my son to myself that day. So we went into London and we came back. So when we came back, he came to me. I was just lying down on a sofa, and he came to me and he said, "Mom," with tears streaming down his eyes, "I had a dream. My maths teacher called me and said that you had died in an accident." And he was, this is physical. This is a proper conversation. This is not a dream. And I said to him, "Oh, come on, look, I'm here." For no logic, rhythm or rhyme, I went to bed that night and I did an examination and I felt a lump. I said, okay. I woke up in the morning, there was a lump. And it happened luckily, and this is why I say there's a God. As the miracles happen, it was a Saturday morning, I went to my GP and I just strode. I said, "Oh, you know what, there's a lump." He said, "Oh, don't worry, it's a cyst." It didn't mean anything to me. He said it's a cyst. I said, okay. Before I could say abracadabra, I got a letter. I had to go to, the Princess Royal, to a cancer unit. And I'm thinking, like, why would they do that to me?
Oh, wow.
It was a summer holiday, so I took my son and my niece. My sister was working. It was a summer holiday, and I'm thinking, why would I do that? So they said, okay, just go for this. The consultant said, yeah, it's a cyst, but just go and do an ultrasound, a mammogram, or whatever it is that they do. There, with my son and my niece, they were so good. They just sat down outside whilst I went in. I did the mammogram. I did what I had to do. Then they said I needed to do an ultrasound. I said, what is all this? Why are people bothering me? What is all this?
And I'm a woman on a mission, man.
Like, this is
you're disturbing my mission.
You're disturbing me. It's this is summer holiday. I have kids to look after. Leave me alone. So I kind of like, So whilst I was lying down there, all this is very good on reflection. I could see the calcifications. Calcifications in English is the cancerous cells. So I knew the and the person who does the ultrasound was saying, "Oh, didn't you know, da, 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 da." And he said, "Let's try the second one." There were more calcifications. So it's like double whammy. But what he said to me, he said, "Listen, who did you come with?" I said, "My son and my niece." He said, "They may have to sit down outside for a little bit longer." I said, "Why?" Anyway, so they sent the report down to the consultant, and the consultant said to me, he said, "When you come back," first of all, he asked who I came with. And I know you overemphasize this, but I came with my son and my niece. And they're teenagers, they're young, they're on holiday, they should be doing other things. And he said, when you come again, make sure, 1, you don't drive, and 2, come with an adult. I said, what's all that about? Am I going to die? Really? So anyway, so that in a nutshell is what happened. And I went home. I didn't say anything about it. Then I called my sister. I said, look, I have a hospital appointment on such and such a day, and this is what I've been told. I should come with an adult. Are you free? Will you come with me? And she said yes. And again, we went with my son and my niece and herself. Okay. We all went.
Oh, true.
And
I mean, just as this is all happening and taking place, I mean, I'm reading your body language right now. At that point, you didn't see it as anything serious. You didn't take it as anything major.
And it's ignorance sometimes could be bliss. It could be an excuse. It could be God protecting you. But guess where I was? I was in a cancer unit center. And the penny did not drop.
Oh, wow.
The penny did not drop. Wow. So my sister, we went my sister anyway. So when we sat down, the consultant said, I hope you know you've got cancer. But they needed to do more tests and everything like that. My sister looked at me. She burst into tears. I started, she's a chartered psychologist. She looked at me and she burst into tears. I'm thinking, what are you crying for? And, and he started saying things. I had to do this, I had to do that. Anyway, to cut a long story short, we were going home and I started laughing. I said, you are supposed to be taking the notes. You're the one crying.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And we burst out laughing.
Yeah.
So that took about, oh my God, well, progressively, it was every 2 weeks. I was going for biopsies here. I had an infection. But the conclusion was I had to have some surgery. And they gave me all this all this literature to read. I couldn't read it. But one day at about 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, I started reading it. And then I noticed that the surgery I wanted was for only one side. And I'm thinking, if it's in both sides, nobody should mess with me. So I now went to the consultant and I said, listen, what are my options? I'm not having radiotherapy.
So has the penny dropped at this point?
At this point, the penny had dropped.
Okay.
At this point, the penny had dropped. I had come to terms with it. I think the problem in life is the not knowing that is worse than the knowing. So I was more uncomfortable and losing so much weight with the not knowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But as soon as I knew what was going on, I kind of started, not immediately, it took me 3 weeks.
Okay.
Not immediately, it took me 3 weeks to even read the that I had.
Is it because reading it is a way of kind of accepting the reality of the situation, or just maybe you just felt tired to read it?
Reading it was too descriptive, the photographs they were showing, the images and everything that they were showing. But when I did read it, so my sister and I told them this is what I want. My sister and I decided no silicone. Silicone is a foreign body. Don't behave. This is not. It's not a fashion statement.
Yes.
You don't need to enhance anything here.
Yeah.
This is not a fashion statement. Yeah. So the hospital, the Princess Royal, couldn't do it. So I had to go to St. Thomas's. So St. Thomas's and the Pro spoke to each other. And they decided this is what's going to happen. So so the plastics and the breast cancer surgeons spoke to each other. So I ended up having the plastics. This surgery was 13 hours.
Oh, wow.
That's why there's a God. And when I was going down, my sister obviously, she's traumatized by this time. Yeah. But I think the second time we came out, that the children asked, do you have cancer? Just tell us now.
So after all these appointments, only later on did they actually...
in the hospital after one of the, because I was going for too many tests, blood tests here. Yeah. It was in the hospital at one of the tests that they said, please just tell us what's going on. So we just had to tell them that this is what's going on. But the penny didn't drop then. So to everybody, so the surgery and everything, I felt worse for the children. Because the 13-hour surgery wasn't bad. They rolled me down, and my sister, when they were rolling me down, my sister looked at me and I said, it's okay. It does not matter if I come out and if I don't come out. It does not matter. It's fine. At that point, my sister said she knew I would survive.
Okay.
And before I went, the day before the surgery, I told the surgeons, please, when you come in the morning, come with steady hands. They fell in love with me.
I love it.
I said, when you come in the morning, come with steady hands. Not because I didn't know these words were coming out of my mouth, But we all know that, look, these people are going to be confronted with some super duper surgery. And I don't want them having the God of Bacchus should not take over the night before. Any number of things can happen because of how we relate to stress.
Okay, I think this is really important for everyone to kind of identify here, right? Because we have a situation here that it's critical, it's serious, right? You're telling it now, but I can imagine when the coin dropped, the 1,000 voices that could be going through your head. You know what I mean? That you're having to contend with, especially when things are silent, especially when you have to read a letter and all that kind of stuff. But what I'm taking from you is that you faced it.
Yeah.
You faced the situation. You know, listen, sometimes we can try to avoid a situation. We can avoid I'm in faith, but we're avoiding the reality of the situation. Being in faith is confronting the wall of Jericho. Being in faith is, do you know what I mean? It's confronting, it's facing Goliath.
Yeah.
But sometimes we want to try to sidestep it as if it's not happening, you know what I mean? Instead of confronting it. Because when we confront it, then it's like, I can see that you're having the tools to confront it at the same time. When we leave things, especially when it comes to our health, and we just try to sidestep it, things can get worse.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I love this attitude you have of facing it. It's not easy. God knows the fear and all the thoughts of what can go wrong being said to you, maybe by people that you know. You know what I mean? It's one of those things, Sabrina?
Yeah, I was even just thinking as you were speaking as well. It reminds me of the story of Esther as well, isn't it? And it's that initial fear that comes to your mind. But she was chosen for that mission. And then in the end, she said, if I perish, I perish. But she faced it. Just as you said to your sister at the time.
Sister, yeah.
You know, he said, if I come out, it was okay. If I don't
come out, it's okay. It was okay.
Yeah. And there's that fighting spirit inside of you that she saw. You're going to come out.
Yeah. and I think, again, when somebody tells you, the surgeon said, I hope you appreciate that you're going to have one of the most complicated procedures in plastic surgery on the night before. I said, that's fine. It's okay.
They're like,
it's okay.
There's only two options, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's either...
it's true.
Sorry, I laugh because I don't do things like that.
I know, but I'm saying
I get it.
human beings, right? Human beings, you know what I mean? Especially certain cultures, right? All right, but then there's the other option.
But then, I get that, but that never occurred to me. One of the reasons is that I believe in surgeons. I believe in people who have gone through a process to learn their craft.
Okay.
I don't believe in people who just jump up one day and say, I'm this. Okay, show me your credentials. I need to understand. I believe in people putting in the time and the effort. So the surgeons realized that I had faith in them and their skills.
So you was rational. You wasn't based on emotional. You was rational.
I was not emotional about it because for you to be a plastic surgeon, you would have gone through a process. For you to be a plastic surgeon at St. Thomas's, the NHS, you would have had to do your time.
Yeah.
So why am I confused?
So feelings feelings can be our enemy, right? Because feelings can fluctuate, you know? It's like God when he says, like, let's reason together. Because when you're decided on something, it is what it is, regardless of how you feel or what circumstances look like.
Exactly.
But God made the surgeons. This is my thing. So, religion and science go hand in hand. It depends on how you view it. But so let me fast forward because you will see the conflict in medicine. So I'm confident of the surgeons and everything. That's fine. So after, I think I was in hospital for 2 weeks, I think after the 13-hour surgery, I had another 2-hour emergency surgery the next day. Now, that was bad because I had family around and they wheeled me back again to the theatre. They were crying. That was not good.
Yes.
They were crying because I had lost too much blood. I don't know what was going on. And because, I have been rewired. My whole chest has been rewired and everything. So whatever. So that's 4 weeks. So, I'm happy with that. And I had already told my consultant, he said, you cannot escape chemotherapy, but you can escape radiotherapy. I said, okay, I'm not doing radiotherapy. Good. Because I'm not going to have surgery but they now said I should have chemotherapy. Chemotherapy to me, and I'm not advocating any form of medicine to anybody. You can only do what is right by yourself. Chemotherapy to me was an unknown, and it was uncertain, and nobody had told me about it. So all I've ever heard is like, oh, I don't like it. And I said, I don't want chemotherapy. But persuasion, do it for your son, do it for this, why are you doing this? You've already done this, Spoke to went in to see the oncologist. I will never forget. And she says, oh, you're going to have 6 sessions of chemotherapy. And I said, I came here to tell you that I'm not having any. She almost collapsed. It was like, because again, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir. My God wasn't telling me. He had told me I'd done my surgery. As far as I was concerned, I was cured on the day that I had surgery.
Yeah.
But that's me and my God. That is me and my thoughts.
Yeah, it's very important to state that, because this is Alero's journey.
It's only my journey.
She's speaking from her personal experience. All right, so
I'm not prescribing it to anybody else.
Your doctor's going to give you guidance. She's not a doctor. All right,
I'm not a doctor. I'm not prescribing it. I'm talking about my mindset and my faith and my belief in what was right for me.
I also wanted to say as well, like at this point, your faith was still intact.
My faith was not intact.
Oh, okay. So after
people
you
were
had the
praying
surgery.
for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A lot of prayers coming in. People were still praying. But then so we did the. So I agreed to do chemotherapy. So I told her, I said, so what are my chances? She said, well, if you don't have it, maybe you 10% or 90% you will live, 10% you would die. I said, I would take my chances. But after a lot of family persuasion, because of my son, I really did it for my son anyway. But hold on a second. The first time I had chemotherapy, somebody took a gun and blew my brains out. It was ghastly. And when you know something is not right for you, whether it is work, career, anything, listen to the instinct, because the instinct is your God talking to you. I had to go back to my GP. He said they should tweak it. Every time it was just getting progressively worse. So
in the end, when you passed through these sessions, what was it like? What happened?
I only did 3 out of 6. When I passed through the sessions, then I started healing. I restored my faith, because I could see the progress. I was doing my exercise. I could see, like, hold on a second. The next question I asked myself after all this is like, okay, because in the process I lost a lot of people. Family members, relatives, and one of the things I asked myself, okay.
Wait, so just a question, what do you mean you lost them?
So they had the same condition in terms of cancer. A lot of people didn't make it.
Oh, wow.
So when you see that as you're going through, you ask yourself the question, so why did I survive? And I question myself, it's because God wants you to make it meaningful. It has to be meaningful. I come from a culture where nobody talks about these things. So I'm like, I will use my voice. I have to use my voice. Because during chemotherapy, I lost my voice. My sister was my voice. I was slurring. I was losing my speech.
Wow.
Yeah.
Foregone conclusion, I lost my hair. One of the things that really, and as I was coming in today, I thought about, because I have to go back. I don't think it's the same person. When I lost my hair and I came back home, my son could not look at me, because the reality that I was ill dawned. It is that boldness. So all this while, with surgery, no changes. No visible changes. I should say it was the visible change, and that image still haunts me till tomorrow. He would not lift up his head to look at me. So, but I said when I was going through all this, God, give me the strength, because I want to see him get to the age of 21. Don't leave him alone like this. Don't leave me like this. Let him be 21. And that's what happened. So fast forward 7 years down the line, I'm still here. I'm still happy. I'm still using my voice.
And you did things. You said that you was doing exercise, right? I think maybe you did a bit of research as well into probably your eating, maybe. I don't know. In terms of, I think it was more of the exercise than anything else, because I think after 4 weeks just recovering, I went for a 4-hour walk, and they were looking for me because it was one step at a time. My steps were so slow,
But in all this, I lost my job.
Oh, wow.
Of course, because once then, when you start chemo, nobody knows when you're ever going to come back.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I didn't lose it per se, but they have a way of easing you out of work. You have to make your choices.
Yeah.
So
Again.
here's the question. So you went through that dark part, right? And you came out the other side. You came out through the other side, exercising step by step, little by little, making your way. So after that, obviously you was without a job as well. So it's like you're having to restart and reignite your energy, reignite your strength. Now, you've written a book on My Cancer Has Many Faces, all right? You've got a Facebook page about thriving after the big C and all these kind of things. Thriving is a word that I see, connected to you in everything that you do, thriving. So how did you thrive after passing through this moment?
Okay.
What did you do? What was it?
So before I answer that question, one of the things I have to say, and I hope this is a nugget that people take away, I wrote a journal. The journal is actually my book. So the book only captures that moment in time, a very specific moment in time. It's not my life history, it's a snippet of what I went through.
What made you decide to write the journal? Because you got a lot of things happening at that time when you was unwell. What made you decide to say, let me start writing and documenting this?
Because I've always been writing and documenting. I just think it's therapeutic. And their words is not everybody you can explain things to.
Yeah.
But when you put your thoughts down, when you go back and reflect, is this how I felt during this time? Don't forget, trauma and situations like this, like childbirth for those who have had children, so painful, but you still go back for more. Not that I want to go back for more in this case.
Yeah.
But it's like any of us. It's like what the definition of failure. It's like something and look at how it's affected you in all ways, but you go back and repeat it.
That's
it's like,
right.
why would you do that to yourself?
That's right. Yeah.
So again, you talked about thriving. I have had a lot of knocks. I have failed to myself in the sense that there I was. My first name was trainee solicitor, leasehold manager, Everything was taken away from me, stripped bare.
Yeah.
And then I had to start from the bottom up.
Oh, wow.
And the bottom up is one of the most, for me, humiliating places I've had to go. I have had to humble myself. Where I was recruiting people, training people. Now I'm the one they're recruiting. I'm the one people are insulting. I'm the one who has to get the tea. I'm the one who has to get the coffee because I want to put bread and butter on my table.
Oh, wow.
That is the thing that still hurts me till tomorrow. But anyway, it's one of those things. And it's what we put on the financial aspect, how much weight we put on finance. So going through all this, I lost my job and everything. But then I got a very good job at some point, and it put me back into that position. And I looked at everything that I had done, my involvement with the NHR, my involvement with Guy's and St. Thomas's, my involvement in getting people into academic research and trying to improve the quality of healthcare in terms of funding and things like that. Then I said, hold on a second. I have actually more than survived. I've done that. Now I am thriving. And I'm like, all my days.
Yeah.
Because one day I was having a shower. I've got so many scars. And I looked at all the scars and I said, there's some of the scars I can't even see anymore. So I've survived that. I'm now thriving. And that is how I came about with Thriving Beyond Your Scars. But beyond thriving beyond your scars, one day I said, but what does thriving mean to me? And then I started breaking it down. T for time. T for trust. Then H for humor. Humility. R for resilience. Reinvention. I for image. V for vision. I for influence. G for grace and gratitude. And for each letter, I started applying something to it to give the meaning of thriving a word, a meaning. And then T is for truth as well, because everything I say is only my truth.
Yeah.
Somebody else could say, Alero, I didn't see it that way, but I can only tell you my truth. And that is why I have Thriving Beyond the Scars, because some of us have invisible scars, some of us have visible scars. And if there's anything I would want anybody to take away is that most of our invisible scars are mental.
Yeah.
Look after your mind more than anything else. Because I told somebody recently, mind over matter. If you do not mind, it does not matter. Most of the things that happened to me is because I did not mind. So it did not matter. But the things I have mentioned, like my work experience, it mattered to me, and I do mind, and I'll continue minding. So, you know, so it's the way we perceive it. And the last thing I would like to say is this, and I thought about it seriously, and I'm going to say it really slowly, because thriving beyond your scars, the big C and everything, is because I want to leave a legacy. And I would tell you like this: live your life and use your life so that the use of your life outlives your life. That is the meaning of legacy.
Oh, Booyah Shaka, drop it like it's hot. That's it. Who doesn't want to be like that, right? If we don't have that vision, having that kind of thought impacts the way that we live day to day.
Yeah.
You know, we make sure that we people value quality and we extend ourselves to be poured out into the life of other people. And that's very strong, Alero, because that's what I believe why we're here.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, Sabrina.
Of course, definitely. I think we have to live consciously and not just, what's the word?
Passive.
Is it passive?
Robotic.
Robotic, yeah, that's the word. Yeah, just like, you know, on, what's that? Air something mode.
Autopilot.
Autopilot, that's the word. Yeah, autopilot. Sometimes we just do things repetitively, and we wake up, we do the same thing day in, day out with no meaning. We kind of like do the same things. Okay, I need to bath, need to go to work, make money, come home, cook, and all of that stuff like that. But we're not living in the moment. We're not living consciously. Yeah, we don't have a purpose. So yeah, I think it's about living purposely, you know, on purpose.
I agree with you. I think I only have one question, and that is why, whilst we all whilst we're living purposely, I just feel that we don't have to have trauma in order to live purposely.
Yes.
So a lot of people, you just hope that nothing of this nature happens to you, because not all of us have the tools to work. You know, it's the tools. We're only as good as the tools that we have to work with. So I feel that people who do not have to go through such trauma or tragedies should also give. Listening to people's stories is so important. Don't wait for it to happen to you. In order you may not have the lived experience, but you might even have a strength that they do not have.
True.
Which is, if I go to dark places, where can I turn? You know, it's bad enough that you've been through this. It's like, where do you turn? And it's at times like this, when you're having radio stations like this, you listen to people. It has to be upbeat. It has to be positive. It can't be like that all the time. But don't wait until it happens to you for you to hopefully be able to do something positively or to benefit somebody else. It's not all about me. But we live in a society, thank goodness, that is now getting away from the me into the community.
Strong things.
We are moving away. This society is actually moving away from the 2.4 now. They want communities, especially after COVID. Things have opened up. People are struggling to talk to others now. Any given opportunity. And everything we do is storytelling. And we should just use our voices wisely.
This is very strong. All right.
But it's upbeat. Please, people, I didn't come here to make anybody sad.
No, absolutely not. You have
to say that there is life. There is life.
Yes.
It's what we do with it.
And this is really, really important. Vivian says, amen. Very strong and powerful testimony. That was from Vivian in Scotland. All right. Guys, this is really important. And, given the opportunities, let's seek opportunities to be used, right, to impact others. When I think, we got a lot of listeners here from the help centers around the globe, and many people are looking to create opportunities to be used. And then those of you who are in the help center, you're there to be used, right? We've got the Ukraine, maybe a pill 25 tons going to go into the war zone, and maybe we're sleeping on it. But we're here, we're alive, we can do something. We got people on our high street, in our areas, our neighbors, that they could be going through some stuff, and we've got empowerment, and we can pour something good into their life. Hi, how you doing? How's it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you might be in an area where people don't talk. Like, I've got a neighbor, she's like, walking the dog, like, you know. But I'm like, hi, good morning, how you doing, my dear? You know what I mean? Her husband is good, like, you know, I'm going to invite him to church soon. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, so it's, know how important you are. You know, you don't have to go to, if you haven't gone to the brink of death, thank God for that. You know, at the same time, anything can happen in life. We're in a fallen world, right? God doesn't bring destruction upon us. We're in a world that is fallen, that is decaying every single day, unfortunately. And anything can happen while we're living in this life, you know, and to think and remember that we're here to serve. We're here to serve. I want to be strong so I can serve. That's what I've perceived from you. You want to be strong and you take care of yourself so I can serve, so I can be a voice for people. This is strong, Alero. And this is powerful.
And you see, for me, whilst I never went back, again, failure, whilst I never went back to train as a solicitor, the reason being, I think there were 16 units. I had already passed 13, but 3 I couldn't pass. And you think, being in law school, they would give me concession.
You know,
I used to have MIIs, and one day they called me and said, if you don't do this, please, you're out. £10,000 down the drain. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. No, sir.
Wow.
So for me to use my voice now, I feel that training has helped me also. So whilst I'm not a qualified solicitor, I'm also an advocate. An advocate is just being able to talk. I have the knowledge. And I select who I use that knowledge for. Or with, you know, it's
like the 18. If you have a problem, you don't have anyone that can help. A-L-E-R-O-O, Alero.
And you meet so many beautiful and wonderful people. Like, I've met all of you, you know. So it's opened up so many different channels.
Fantastic.
You know, and you know, then my faith returned, which I think is good. And every day is like, you thank God, you have gratitude.
From what I'm hearing about you, didn't lose it. You didn't lose it.
No, I was upset with him.
You had your human issues.
Yes.
You know, but you know, but you left the door still open. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, because there are some people that something goes wrong and they just want to be stubborn. They want to be stubborn. Oh God, no, oh look, oh I'm better now. Is it? Oh, what, you think you're helping me now? No, it's not you. It's not you. You know, human beings are peculiar. When you say they're stubborn,
don't you look at it like I addressed it like a physical father punishing me? So why don't you look at it like, don't we have arguments with people? So they're still having that argument. One day they will negotiate. One day we'll all come together. And then they hug and kiss each other again. You know.
Thank God you're like that.
No, because it's true in the spiritual world, because it's all about the energy. One day they're having the conversation with him. And he's talking to them, so they're still annoyed. He's going to tell them one day, you need to calm down.
I think it's to do with like expectation as well, because when you come into the faith, it's almost like you just expect your life to be perfect. That's how I came in as well. It was like, I just thought no bad thing should happen to me, like nothing negative should happen.
It's gonna be a bed of roses.
So then when you go through those hard moments, those hard situations, you think, okay, God, where are you? Why are you allowing this to happen to me? But he has a reason. It's a molding process, character building.
And I think
I questioned, why me? But once it's, okay, why not me? All right then.
and you know what? And the thing about it is like when you start looking, I know breakfast shows like getting a bit more spiritual now, because these are very sensitive subjects, you know, and we can only find resolution in scripture. Do you know what I mean? We can't. God gives us that confidence, you know. And the thing about it is, Jesus never promised us an easy life. You know, he said things are going to happen. But things are going to happen.
I like what you said. It's a breakfast show and it's spiritual. But isn't one of the first things you do when you wake up is pray?
Absolutely. Ideally.
We have a saying is that when you wake up, that is your morning. So whenever you wake up, that is when your morning begins.
Absolutely.
So you know we have that saying.
So guys, this has been a very powerful story. I wanted to go for a break so you can ask Alero some questions. Do you think we can go to a song and just come back with some questions for Alero? Yeah, because no one's coming in after, isn't it? Okay, we're good. So we're just going to go for a very short time out, 3 minutes. If you've got any questions for Alero, then we're just going to throw some questions at her or anything that you want to add. Definitely. If you want to know more about Alero, Alero, how would we? Because I remember we went through with Olivier. Yeah, how would we get through to you? Because I just search Alero Dabor and like everything just comes up.
I think that is the best way because, to be fair, I don't know these links.
Alero Dabor, you can find out about the books as well.
Books on
Amazon, Facebook, everything's all connected. Her podcasts, it's amazing. I went to see your studio with you and Olivier. It was so nice. I felt, seriously, it's so nice. It's so nice. We're going to be doing some filming. Well, hopefully that's in the pipe work. So I'm actually going to join them on their podcast. Hopefully they'll have me. I'm trying to I want to be there.
One of the things I have to say is that the book is self-published. My studio is like, I don't wait for people to do things for me.
Drop it like it's hot.
You have to take some control and take ownership, and I think that is what we lack.
Yeah.
We live in a society where the blame culture hinders people a lot. So it's like, okay, there's a problem. What is the solution? Stop hindering yourself, waiting to blame somebody else for the problem.
Yeah.
Authentic problems, don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with, but at the same time, you're also looking for solutions.
Yeah.
But don't hang everything dependent on blaming people, and I think that's what pulls us back.
Yeah.
So I self-published. Nobody's going to publish my book. I'm not a celeb, but I like to write my book, and I like to see it in.
Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah.
There's a phrase that we learned in the VYG back in my day. Make a way.
Exactly. When there's no way, you make a way.
Make a way.
Exactly.
They said no. Make a way. Ain't that right, Sabrina?
Yep.
Right?
Make a way.
Right?
Make it happen.
That's it. Make it happen. We don't care about your excuses or reasons.
Yeah.
Just make it happen. Make a way.
If you can, you try as much as possible to do that.
Yeah.
But it has taken me time. Rome was not built in a day.
Yeah.
I'm sitting down here. I've had my good times, my bad times, but now the good times, because it's like I keep on reinventing myself. I'm like another Madonna. I get bored. Like, oh, for goodness sakes, is that it?
But just don't do what she did. Like she like 97 and she looks like she's 16.
Oh.
I mean, I'm just saying. This is
like
just my thoughts.
Age is but a number. If that is what makes her keep going, I would do exactly that as well. I just can't afford it. That's all.
I'm just worried about I'm worried about the 19-year-old that will look at her and be like, oh, maybe I should date this one.
And rightly so. Take ownership of it.
Each to their own, I say. Good luck on that one. Guys, all right, we have to finish up. Time's up. Guys, Alero, thank you so much for being with us this morning. You've been absolutely wonderful, phenomenal. You've given us some punches. You've given us a lot of insight and things to look at. You've shown what it's like to build you something and go all out, to lose everything again and to rebuild yourself, showing it step by step. Keep focus. The humility in like, let's do what we need to do to keep rising up. You know what I mean? It's powerful, such a powerful and very strong story, and we appreciate you coming and sharing that with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think we're going to definitely have you coming on another time. Ain't that right, Breakfast Show Faithfuls? I'm going to disturb her and lasso her from, back over here in our North London studios. So thank you so much, Alero, and more power to you.
Thank you so much, and I wish everybody a blessed day and have fun.
That's how we roll. And I want to thank you, Sabrina, for joining us today. You're going to come next week, Tuesday, okay? That's it. I have to try to find a way to replace Sherelle. I have to try to, you got your own Vim going on, so it's great having you with us.
Yeah.
And actually, I want you to be able to show us some of your designs, because your designs are quite therapeutic. Like I'll go onto your Instagram channel, I'm like, and I feel at peace.
Yeah.
I could just stay there looking at your Instagrams. Seriously, I literally, you should see the stuff, you you just look at it and you're like, yeah. What's Instagram again?
At Sabrina_official, I believe.
Everybody needs to start working on the links. If it's on YouTube, I'm going to put the links in the description.
Yes,
all right,
please do.
And then everyone can get everyone's links. All right, and Kathleen, thank you for being a great woman of sound as you always are. You are absolutely awesome. All right, you can't do it like that because you've got the Zoom account. So you have to be like, yay! Come just like, yeah, that's it. That's what I love. I love it. You see, this is it. We're learning together. All right, guys, and I want to thank you all. Guess what? We'll be back again tomorrow on The Breakfast Show with our Wellness Wednesday, where we'll be showing beautiful tips. By the way, we're going to get Alero to come in on one Wednesday as well.
I'll do that.
Yeah, all right.
Because we need to talk about the food side of things.
Yes, absolutely.
Nutrition.
All right, but why? Because it's the only temple that we have to live in while we're here. All right, we've got to take care of it. So we're going to have some more Breakfast Show banter, more Breakfast Show laughter, great tips, great advice, inspiration, education, and motivation for you to start your day right. Same Breakfast Show time, 7 a.m. Same Breakfast Show channel, libertyradio.co.uk. And we'll be back. And by the way, just want to say, Iffy, I absolutely enjoyed the program. Thanks, Alero. May God bless you, Iffy. Yes, we want Alero back.
Oh, all right. I will come back.
All right. But other than that, you can communicate on the live chat, and other than that, we can communicate on produce@libertyradio.co.uk. But I'm done. I'm finished. Too much power, too much energy. You've got to have a robust Tuesday, all of you. Until then, ciao for now.
Bye. She switched off.